Hey, sports fans, Larry Eder, RunBlogRun. This is Socialing the Distance, your favorite program. Today, we've got a real treat. Quanera Hayes, one of our top 400-meter runners in the U.S. Quanera, great to see you.
Good to see you too.
Now, where are you based out of?
I'm in Florida.
And then who's your coach?
Okay. Derek White.
Oh, cool. Okay. Now, where did you go to college?
Livingstone College in Salisbury, North Carolina.
Wow, that sounds like an even tinier one than I went to. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was pretty small.
How did you get into track and field?
I want to say I was maybe in 6th or 7th grade, and my science teacher had me race a boy, and he asked me, I beat the boy, of course, and he asked me, did I want to run track? And I was like, I guess. I didn't know what track was. I didn't even know it was a thing.
In high school, did you do the 200 and the 400?
I didn't do the 400 until my senior year of high school, but I did run the 1 and the 2, and I was on like the short distance relays. And then I just jumped into the 400 when I had to run the 800 with some boys. And I got out pretty fast, but I eventually died the second lap. So my coach was like, hey, let's just try the 400. And I did that. And I was like, well, as you can see, I was pretty decent at it, but I still wasn't like world class at that time.
When did you know you wanted to be a pro athlete?
My senior year of college.
What happened?
I was graduating, and it's that moment where you look like, all right, Quanera, like, what's next? What are you going to do? Because, either you got to get a job or, what are you going to do? And I was just, everybody in my corner and all the people that support me and things like that were just like, just give it a try. It can't hurt for you to go out and try, you're good and stuff like that. So just go for it. And that's what I did. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go for it. Because I really didn't have like a set plan. As far as, like going back to school to get a master's or like had a job lined up or anything like that. So I was just like, I'm going to go for it and see what happens. Whatever happens, happens.
When did you find out that the pandemic was a real thing? Was that back in March? Did that change when your training changed in March of 2020?
Yes, it did. And then more so because I was like I stayed 30 minutes from where we train at and also 30 minutes from where my coach trains at. So when my county was on lockdown, their county wasn't. So I couldn't like leave my house. So I had to train like where I lived. So I missed maybe like a good month and a half of training because I couldn't, go and travel to the other county because they were trying to keep everybody inside and stuff like that. And it was even to a point where we would have a patrol officer at the front of our neighborhood, who were patrolling people who weren't essential workers and stuff like that. So I had a good month and a half training by myself while my coach and my team trained in Claremont.
What was that like training by yourself again?
It wasn't too bad. At that time, it was more so just, keep going. I had to try to find different ways to motivate myself. And to keep pushing myself because we didn't know what was going to happen, whether we were going to have a season or not. So it was just a matter of just trying to push through it and finding different days or different ways to make myself get up in the morning and actually go train because that was a very tough part. And then, I have my son with me. So, for the first few months of the pandemic, I had my son. So, he was just like that motivation for me to keep going. It's like, all right, you don't know what's going to happen, but you got to be ready when it's time to get ready.
How old's your son?
He is 2.5.
And what's his name?
Demetrius.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's a wonderful name. Do you bring him to practice a lot or? No.
I think he's may have been to maybe 2 practices. And that's because I had to. Maybe my cousin who watches him while I'm at training, she had something to do that morning. So he would come for like a few seconds in the morning, and then she would come pick him up, or she would have to drop him off early to training. But he's never been like at practice with me.
What did you race in 2020 that much?
No, I want to say I had maybe 3 races.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say 3 races, and that was like right after the like after they lifted everything, they were starting to have track meets. I think I had maybe 3 races, and ooh,
It was tough. What was your first thoughts when you heard the Olympics were being moved to postpone and moved to 2021?
um I think it was a mixture of like somewhat relieved because I was, for one, I'm coming off my baby and still trying to get my body right. So for me,
Sure.
I really looked at it as God giving me another opportunity to continue to prepare myself for the next year, the upcoming year, and stuff like that. So for me, it was just really focusing myself on, okay, I get extra time now. So it wasn't that yes, it was difficult because you sometimes you don't know where your body is or how your body's going to be the next year. So it's kind of like that may have been my year, but I knew that I was going to keep going no matter what. So it was just I tried to look at the positive outcome of what was.
What is your best racing distance?
My The 400.
Okay, and you like it?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm also pretty decent in the 200 as well, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really enjoy the 400.
And I've talked to a lot of athletes who do the 200 and the 400. I was talking with Shawnee Miller the other day, and she said her perfect distance is probably 250 to 300, because we were talking about, racing outdoors. In 2021, how has your training gone?
Great.
Okay.
I've never felt better. In all of my years of running, I've never felt better.
Mm-hmm. That's
mentally
great.
and physically. More so mentally, but I've never felt better.
Cool, cool. Now, how many times did you race indoors?
This past, maybe 3.
All ATL meets?
Yes. Or
Okay.
maybe 2. I maybe ran the 200 and then I ran the 400. So maybe it's 2 or 3. It's
how did you feel in the 200 in the indoors?
Oh, I felt great. I got a PB, a personal best in the 200. So that was really, really great for me, and like a really good start to where my body was going. At that time, of course, there were things that I knew that I could go back and work on for my 200.
Sure.
But I really felt great about that race, and to be running with Jenna, who's a great 200-meter runner, and to be able to just find myself staying with her. It was I felt really good about that race.
What's the key to you running a great 200?
For me, it would be getting my start a lot better. A lot better. That's for the 100 as well. It's like my start is not there as a sprinter or normal sprinter would be. They're more like power, and I'm more like my 400 tends to be the start when I need to have like a 100-meter or a 200-meter start. I'm still in that 400 start mode,
Sure, yeah.
Transition of trying to break from my 400-meter start as opposed to having an aggressive 100, 200-meter start.
When you've had a good 200, you come back and run a 400, that gives you a lot of confidence?
Yes. Yes, because, the faster I am in my open 2, the more comfortable I'll be able to come in my 400, in my first 200, my 400. So I try to get that down so that way I can come through smoothly in a decent time in my 400.
When you run an indoor 400 and you get off well and you got yourself in really good position, that last lap, are you literally just holding on?
No, I still have more. I'm able to like pick it up after I get through the 200. I'm able to pick it up more and just go to work on the back stretch coming off that curve, and just like now then when I'm getting to that last curve and trying to go back up, that's when I'm holding on and trying to and really trying to make it through. But I still have a good little bit left that once I break, come through the 200.
Yeah, I always thought you had a really great last 50.
Mhm.
And can you sense when you're pulling, can you sense when people are coming back to you and you're going to get them before the finish line?
No, when I'm running, for me more so I'm thinking about is execution and staying within myself. I really don't think about like what's going on around me, because I sometimes if I do that, I'll tend to not run my race. And when I'm running my 400, I tend to really want to just run my race so that I know I can execute well and I can do what I have to do and not try to focus on anybody else. And then by that time, I probably just really tired too. I'm just thinking,
Sure. Yeah.
girl, you better get to this finish line and
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
to it fast and just pump your arms because somebody might come. So that's all that is.
Indoors this season, was it strange to not have fans there, not to have a crowd cheering you?
Yeah. Yeah, because it's a little quieter. Really, we don't really have spectators in track and field in the first place. So it kind of made it to where you had to really just go within yourself and hype yourself up and just rely on the people that were there, whether they were cheering for you or not. Like their voices and their cheers just made it like, okay, somebody's here, they're watching. So just run and, just kind of like pretend that you have that field or those people are there and your family is here and your friends are here. Just use what you have right now as far as like the people, just use it to the best of your ability and just do what you can control as far as like, your mindset and stuff like that and just getting through it and taking it for what it is.
Okay. Take us through your racing so far, because you've had I've been really impressed with some of your runs, and they should be giving you some confidence as you get towards Eugene. What has your racing told you so far about where you're at?
That I am, like I said before, that I'm in a better place than when I was before, and that I didn't lose anything. For me, it was more so coming from my baby. Like my confidence it wasn't the same, and it was just a lot tougher. Making sure that, all right, Quanera, you're still there, like you still got it and stuff like that. So this season has really showed me that, God is still with you. He's still holding you, he still has a plan for you. And you just have to take that and just continue to give him your best. Like he's giving you his best. Like you have to continue to fight for it. And now is more like, I have more reason to fight for it and more reason to run because I am a mom. And, he's literally my everything and my reason for running because I do it for him. So it's just telling me like, just keep going. You're in there. You're a lot stronger than what you were. So just keep going. And it's just putting me in a position mentally to really see myself where I want to be.
What were you surprised by your time in the 400 this season?
No, because that's what my times in training was reflecting that's what I could run at that time. So I wasn't surprised. I was more so like really just ecstatic that I took my body back to that place in my first meet, and it's taking me back to my 2016 season before I got hurt with my stress fracture, and how I was in a good space, and then back to my 2017 season. I didn't open up as fast, but I was still in a good space then. But like I said, my training reflected that, so I wasn't too surprised.
On April 10th at the Miramar Invite, you ran 49.92. You were 1/100th of a second behind Shamir Little. And tell us about that race.
First, big congrats to her because she's really been doing her thing this season. I've been really proud of her. Well, really, it was just more so me trying to just, like I said, run my race. And it was very windy coming through after the first 100 and getting on that back. It was very windy. So I was just trying to just like work work. And I know Shamir is she's very fast and she gets out really fast and she's a very strong runner, especially being a 400-meter hurdler. And I was just trying to get my position in the race. And then when we got on that home stretch, I just went to my arms, and when I seen her coming or I could hear her coming, I was just like, girl, just keep pumping your arms, but you're almost there, keep pumping. And then, she ended up passing me in the last second, but it was just a really good race because it helped me push myself a lot more than I probably would have had I, just been in the front. It allowed me to really just go to a different space and really work and try to get home and try to, get the win. Unfortunately, I didn't get it, but, it was still a very good race and very pleasing to me to just be able to just go there.
What, you also ran, let's see, on the 4th, you ran 11:38.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Oh, I was so happy for that. Oh my gosh, I was so happy to run 11:3 because I have been trying to get my 100-meter time down. And like I said, it's just not working. My start is just, honestly, I don't know what to say about my start, but it could be a lot better. I just feel like I walk out of the blocks. When the gun goes off, I feel like I'm walking out of the blocks and I'm not able to really get out. But before, my race, my coach is just telling me, you just got to try to get out and, keep your arms going and just try to be aggressive and, not to put too much pressure on yourself. And so when the gun went off, I just went and I was using my arms because I've been learning, that my arms are very important when it comes to whether running the 400 or the 100, no matter what it is, like your arms are very important. So I had just been working on my arm swings and I was just like, get to that line, like stay in there, stay in the race and get to the line. And then when they said 11:3, I was happy. I didn't even
win. That's awesome.
I was really happy. I was probably happier about that than my actual 400 race.
And then that same day, you ran a 22:68. Take us through when you're doubling in the sprints. So you do a heat, then you do the 100, and then you do the 200 after that?
Yes. I think for that race, I did the 100 meters, then prelims, and then the finals, and then did the 200. I want to say, I can't remember. But for me, I don't really like sprinting that much. Like that's my least, running the 100 is probably like my least favorite thing to do. That type of training is my least favorite.
If you need to check on him, that's fine. That's not a problem because we can we just stop it and
come here, baby. Come here. He's waking up from a nap. So
no problem. No problem.
I thought he would see it through, but he's been asleep for quite a while.
Not an issue.
Come here. Okay, let me go grab him really quickly if you don't mind.
Not a problem. Nope. We were talking about the 400 in Miramar. Now, have you raced since Miramar?
Yes, I had the one in Claremont, and then I had a very small meet. I had a very small meet here at Olympia High School. Maybe I want to say maybe a week and a half ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago. I ran the 1 and the 2 was again, and I had a negative win. It wasn't the time I had wanted it to be. But at the time, we didn't know that it was just like a real, very, very low key meet. And at the time, we didn't know it was a negative win. So I ran 11:6 and 22:9. And I wasn't like disappointed, but I was just like, it's not reflecting what I'm running in practice. What's going on? My coach wasn't upset or anything. We just went back to practice that following Tuesday, and I ran really fast in training. And I was just like, what happened on Sunday? And then like a week later, we found out, I ran into a negative win. So I was just like,
wow.
Okay, that makes more sense. I guess they had the wind gauge turn a different way or something happened with the wind gauge. But so I ran into a negative win. So, that kind of had me down for a little bit. But then when I went to practice, I was just like, this is just something that's just not right. Why didn't I run the way I was supposed to? And then when I found out that it, the wind reading was wrong, I kind of was like, okay, I kind of just like, put myself back into that good mindset of like, okay, I'm still on track. I'm still on track. But yeah, that was my last meet. I think I'm done. I'll be done until actually I go to trials.
Are you feeling good about where you're at right now before the trials?
Yes. Being as though like my last 3 days of training have been like really, really like extremely good.
Mm-hmm.
And then my eating has been a lot better. Just like everything has been just falling into place for me and for my training on and off the track, that I'm in a good spot. And my body, I'm constantly getting worked on and stuff like that to keep my body where it needs to be. So I feel really good about where I am right now.
What is how do you do during the rounds and the trials and the national championships? Do they help you, or do they do you feel more confident each round?
Yeah, I feel more confident each round because I don't run every round the same. Most of the time when you are at trials, you run to win, your heat. So that's what I do. But you always feel that first race, your body always feels like, oh my gosh, like what are you doing? Like because we have to taper off before we get to trials and stuff like that. So that first race is just always like a whoa, like what's going on? And then your lucky mommy's doing an interview. And then that second round, and then that.
Oh, they know how to work it at any age.
Yes.
It just does not. Yeah, it's if they're 2 or they're 15, so mm-hmm. It doesn't change at all. When you're in one of the most hotly contested events in American track and field. I mean, it's easy for me to always say, the 100 hurdles are one of the toughest events, but the women's 400 is just brutal. And are you doing the 200 and the 400 at the trials?
Yes. I'm doing the 200 more so just because, type thing. God has given me a gift and I just want to continue to use it and try to expand what he's giving me and to try to push myself to become, a better athlete. Because that me running the 200 is really stepping outside of my comfort zone. Mm-hmm. But I also think it's building me, characterly, like on and off the track. That's going to build me to make me an even better athlete, a better person, because it's really making me strong mentally. I have to really tap into another mental aspect of everything. After doing 3 rounds of the 400, I have to really get back and mentally prepare myself to go again, prayerfully for another 3 rounds of the 200.
Yeah. You like running the 4x4?
Oh, I love it. I love running the 4x4. It's just that team aspect of being on the 4x4 and just having the people depend on you, being able to put your talents with other great talents and try to just, get that gold,
So before or after World Championships and after an Olympic trials, the coaching staff has the ability to put together a team for the 4x4. Do you have to, if you place in the top 3 or top 6 in the 400, are you automatically considered for the 4x4?
I think you are, but sometimes they do have rounds to change that if they see fit, or if somebody else may run faster in the prelims or of the 4x4 or whatever the case may be. But I think guaranteed, like if I win, Lord's will I win, then you're more than likely guaranteed a spot for winning. But the other like second and third place, it's not really like a guaranteed thing. They always can make that call or whatever they see best for that relay at that particular time.
And how many times have you represented the U.S. for 4x4 relay?
Oh man, including indoors. 2016 would be 20, maybe 3 or 4, and then world relays in 2017?
Yeah.
For the Bahamas. So maybe about 4.
Okay.
4 or 5.
Tell me about Rio.
I didn't get to go to Rio. I was hurt that year. I made it to trials and I made it the finals, but I ended up getting eighth. But I had 2 stress fractures in my legs and my shins, and I was on the verge of breaking my legs actually. In 2016, I walked away from trials on crutches.
Oh my gosh!
Because I kept running.
I forgot. Yeah.
So, I was like I said, that start of that season, I was in a very good place. But that issue has been something I've been dealing with since college, and it got worse and stuff like that. And then I got the bone marrow thing done right before trials, and I made it all the way to the finals. So,
what is your strength and core work like now? Do you do much weight work?
Yeah, we do more so of like weights in the gym. We don't do like the power clean and stuff like that. We don't really do that type of things. But I'm getting right now. We're back up to like doing muscle fatigue type thing. Getting that, trying to feel that burn and stuff like that. And then we do a lot of ab workout. And then sometimes when I'm home, like at nighttime, if I get the chance, outside of doing other momly stuff and wifely stuff, I will try to get a little ab workout in before bed, just because I know that I do need that core strength for coming home in the 400. To keep my legs, lifting my legs, I'm going to need that core strength. So sometimes I try to do like extra stuff. And I've been doing, like, I do a lot of yoga at nighttime to keep my body not so much loose, but to keep my muscles stretched and stuff like that, until my body can recover.
Everybody has a workout that gives them confidence. Do you have a workout that gives you confidence that you're ready to race?
I wouldn't say I have a particular workout, because every day is different. It's just more so like me having a good week of training that would give me confidence that I'm ready, and seeing how my body is continually progressing. That's what lets me know that I'm ready. Just seeing that progression and how my body is feeling when I do a workout, and how I feel after, and how well I'm able to recover after for the next day of training. That lets me know that I'm ready for a meet or something like that.
Is there a workout that or a series of workouts that are really making you strong that you absolutely hate? I've gotten some smiles out of athletes. Noah Lyles told me about one with 2 400s, 2 300s, 2 200s, and 2 100s. And he said when he gets that one, he's not a happy camper. But, so I'm just kind of curious.
For me, it would be more so of our like stuff we do on Wednesdays. Like I have to run. We do like a mile run on Wednesdays.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that's a part of our training for like a recovery. And when I can get my mile time down, I honestly, I hate running a mile.
Oh, sure.
And he does it to where, we're running a certain time for every lap. So that is like literally the death of me. That would be a workout I run from. And the thing is, it was so bad that when I came back to Florida and I was doing my mile, like I would have panic attacks while I'm running. That's because I really just dreaded that workout so much. Like I would have like serious panic attacks running, and it would affect my time. But I've gotten better now. I've learned how to manage my emotions while I'm running. But me running a mile, that would be a workout where I'm like, all right, I'm not really feeling it today, and I really got to pull all my little together and push through it. Look. Oh my gosh.
He's good. Wow. What do you have? I've talked to some athletes still get nervous before they race. Others say, you know what, it doesn't help me. And others say, yeah, I need it. It really kind of helps motivate me. Where do you stand on a race day? Are you getting, are you anticipating it? Is there concern? Do you worry? Are you confident that, hey, I'm ready to go? This is just the way it is. This is part of my job.
I wouldn't necessarily call it worry. I do think about it, and sometimes I do, I do get, a little anxious about everything. But then, of course, I go back to scripture where God tells you not to be anxious about anything, but in everything prayer. And then, it's more so for the fact that because you just never know what'll happen on that day. Like your body, you could be ready, do everything in training and stuff like that. But sometimes, things happen. You could slip. Stuff happens. So, I do kind of just think about those things. And I am nervous before I run, but I do use that as fuel. Like it's a good type of nervousness. It's not a nervousness where I'm just like, I don't know if I can do this type of, it's like a nervous, like I'm ready to go. Like I can do this. I've trained for this. God is with me. Nothing else matters at this point because you've literally done everything that you could do up to this point. There's nothing else you can do to prepare you for this race because it's time. So that's how I look at it. Even though I'm nervous, I just look at it like I've literally done everything that I could do to prepare for this race. So I put myself in the best possible position to go out here and do what I know I can do.
The World Championships will be in Eugene next year. It's the first time we've had a World Champs in the U.S. Are you excited about a World Champs coming to the U.S.?
Yeah, I am, because a lot more of my family can come. And, those of my family who don't want to fly, they can probably, try to make that little long trip all the way from the East Coast.
Oh, yeah.
They can try to make that trip. There's no excuse.
Yeah.
Make a road trip out of it. It's like for my dad and stuff like that, because he just refuses to fly. It'll be a chance for him to see me on that big stage. Lord's will I make it. He can see me on the big stage. He's been to my meets and stuff like that, but he's never been able to see me on the big stage where it's actually been on TV and stuff like that. So for me, that'll be an opportunity to be able to try to kind of talk my little way into his little ear to get him to drive or even try to get him on a plane. But a lot more of my family who's been wanting to come to my meets and, couldn't really make it overseas and stuff like that, have always wanted to come to a race. Hey, yeah.
Will we see you compete till 2024?
Me and my teammate have this conversation all the time. I always tell her, that I have my plan, but God also has a plan. So my thing is I'm going to go until he says I can't go anymore.
Cool. Okay.
I may possibly want to have more kids. I'm a wife, I'm a mom. So, I do want to have a life outside of track. He's getting older, so I want to be able to put him into sports and be able to be out there with him while he's in sports. I can't really do that while I'm training because, I have to get up the next day and go train, and I can't be out running with him and stuff like that. We're taking him on trips. So I do kind of want to move forward with my life's plans. But like I said, it's all based on what God wants me to do and where I am at that time and what he says. Because if he can get me to go to 2024, then I'm just going to be like, hey, you know better than I do. Your will, I follow.
What do you think it shows here, Demetrius, and when he gets older, seeing that his mom has been able to compete and achieve her dreams? Isn't that a good lesson?
It shows him to not give up and to really, once again, I always bring it back to God because like my faith is literally everything. And this is what I'm teaching him, to follow God. It teaches him to just trust God's plan, trust his process. If he's giving you a promise or if he's giving you a word, then he's good to that word and he's going to see it through. You just have to trust it and you have to keep going and know that, everything is taken care of. And that, when things get hard, you have to find it in yourself to push yourself, to keep going. You have to believe in yourself because anybody can believe in you. You can sit here and believe in me all day and tell me that you can go out here in Quanera and you can do this, you can do that. But if I'm not believing in myself or if I'm not trying to do it myself, it's not going to happen. It's never going to happen if you don't believe in yourself. If you doubt in yourself, you're going to do that. So I'm teaching him not to doubt himself and to push through and to always look at the brighter side of things.
That's cool. That's cool. Um, what do you think about with the Olympic trials and with Tokyo coming up? More than likely, there's going to be zilcho in terms of fans. How does that make you feel? Do you just shut it out, or because I had different reactions from different athletes? I mean, some people are like, "Yeah, and I'm going to just have to pretend," or "Well, I'm shutting it out all the time anyway." And I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts are.
Well, for me, it's more so it's for me it's sad, and it's more so a bittersweet thing because, like I said, I went through 9 months with him, giving birth to him, finding my new purpose in running, my new purpose in life with him, and I'm getting emotional now thinking about it, and the fact that he's not going to be there with me. Sometimes it makes me sad because he is my reason, and I want him to be there to see that moment and to see when he gets older, he can see that moment back in pictures. Like, my mom was here with me. Like she had me by her side and, she did all this with me. So, for me, it's a different emotion to not be able to have him, because he's the reason I didn't give up on track because I was going to give up on track.
Wow.
When I was done that 2018 season, I was going to give up until I found out I was pregnant. So,
wow.
He literally is my reasoning for running.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
now is your husband an athlete as well?
Yes, he is. He runs for the Bahamas.
Cool.
He's still running. He's been hurt and things like trying to get back together. But yes, he does. And of course his name is
cool. Cool. Oh yeah, okay. Now I know. Okay, yeah. I can. That's cool. So talk to me about so you talked about 2024. If God willing, what if you're still running well in 2028? We get to see you. Do you want to compete in LA? I love giving people this question because it's like the last Olympics in the US were in '84. And I got to go to them, and it was just really exciting, In 2028, I think is going to be incredible, but it's also a really long time for a 400-meter runner. And, the one I should tell you about is there was a Dutch woman, Fanny Blakers-Koen, who had 3 kids and came back and competed. She won 4 gold medals in 48. And she trained and she got dirty looks when she trained after having kids. Think about that, right? In the 40s and stuff, you know? So it's fascinating to me to see young moms competing. I think it's totally cool, but it's also reminds me Title IX happened when I was a teenager. So, 40 years ago. And so it hasn't been that long that there have been legitimate opportunities besides like table tennis for women to compete. I mean, track and field's one of the earliest ones, but they didn't let women compete over 800 meters till 1968. They'd stopped it in 1928 because they thought that she would collapse and that women couldn't do those things. And I just think it's silly, but it's fascinating to me to see how you're inspiring another generation. I think that's totally cool. So I'm going to ask you 3 more questions. Okay. So first one, if you were not a 400-meter runner, what field event would you do?
Ooh, probably either the high jump or the pole vault.
Okay. Do you have an athlete that you look up to?
Honestly, my teammate, Jordan Lambert. Then that's
cool.
She pushes me every single day in training, and her work ethic is just like nobody's I've ever seen before. So it would be her.
Indoors, which event do you like better, the 200 or the 400?
The 200.
Okay. All right. Outdoors. Yep.
Outdoors will be the 400.
Okay. Will we ever see you run an 800 meters?
Oh, gosh. Yes. Maybe next year.
Okay. Because, I teased Allison about doing the 400 hurdles, and boy, did I get a look. And then I just tried to get Grant Holloway to agree to do the 400 hurdles, and he just, he looked at me like I was out of my.
Try the 400 hurdles. If I can get the coordination right, I would definitely. I wouldn't be scared to try it. But the 800, I want to do more of those next year.
Cool. So there'll be no more races for you between now and Eugene, correct?
That's what it's looking like. Yeah.
All right. Well, you have survived 39 minutes with me, Quanera. So awesome. You did a great job. It's so nice meeting Demetrius. I'm so jealous of his hair, and he's very cool, and he handled it very well. Did a pretty nice interview. But we will make sure Charlie gets a copy of the interview, and you can send it out to your family. Probably be about 10 days. Okay. But Demetrius, thank you. But this is Larry Eder with RunBlogRun. We had Quanera Hayes, and she is an elite American 400 meter runner, and that is her son Demetrius. And this is Socialing the Distance. Thank you, Quanera. It was awesome.
Thank you.
Hey, sports fans, Larry Eder, RunBlogRun. This is Socialing the Distance, your favorite program. And today we featured Quanera Hayes. Quanera Hayes is one of the top 400 meter runners in the U.S. She's also part of the gold medal 4x4 from 2017 in London. And then she also was part of the gold 4x4 teams in 16 and 18 indoors, the World Indoor Championships. And she also was on the winning team at the World Relays back in 2017. She's got a best of 49.72 outdoors. And I'm just trying to do the personal best. Sorry about that. And she's run 22.55 for the 200 and 11.27 for the 100. But what was really fun today was learned some things I didn't know about Quanera. One was she was going to give up running in 2018, and then she had Demetrius, her son, and she wanted to continue competing and kind of show him that his mom can go, continue to compete and achieve her goals. And I think those are huge lessons that kids need to see. This year, she had a nice 11:37, which she said surprised her down at Claremont, and came back and did a 22:68 in the 200 at Claremont as well. And then on the 10th of April, she was leading Shamir Little until the last, 30 meters? And Shamir went by, winning in 49.91 to Quanera's 49.92, which gave her a lot of confidence in how her training's been going and where she's at in terms of the Olympic trials in 4 weeks. A thoughtful athlete. I asked her what workout she does not like. She said that her coach gives her a mile with progressively faster quarters that does not make her happy. And for a 400 meter runner, you can get that. Indoors, her favorite event is the 200, one lap. Outdoors is the 4. She absolutely loves competing at the 4x4. And you can tell that she's dealt with some challenges with injuries. It gives her a confidence to have overcome them. And I think that's what happens when most athletes, overcome challenges. But, I talk all the time ad nauseum about the women's 100-meter hurdles being such a tough event. But I'll tell you, the women's 200 and 400 in the U.S. trials are just going to be fantastic. You've got some athletes really getting into shape, and Quanera is one of them. So I'm looking forward to seeing this group of athletes compete in June of 2021. I also asked some fun questions. I asked her if she'll compete till 2024. She said, God willing. And then I said, well, what if God's willing that you compete till 2028? And she smiled, but one of those smiles like, yeah, did you really have to ask that question? So then I told her about Fanny Blakers-Cohen, the Dutch woman who competed in 1948, winning with three individual and a relay as well. She'd had a couple kids, and everybody thought she was a total nut job for competing after she had children. But you know what? Women should be allowed to do that, and they do that. And I think it's a great lesson for their kids, but also a great lesson for the culture as well. The thing that's really cool in my lifetime is seeing the opportunities for women in sports. I sure don't believe they're anywhere near where they should be, as I don't believe the pay is anywhere near for women as it is with men. But I also think that the fastest growing part of the TV audience in sports is women. And TV producers better start figuring that out, because you got to start talking about things besides the color of someone's hair or if they've got braids or not. It's about the competition and telling the stories and showing what they've overcome and showing what they want to be and telling stories. At the end of the day, what I try to do is tell the stories about these athletes so you're inspired and they're inspired. So thank you for listening to another story. This is Socialing the Distance, and this is Larry Eder. If you like RunBlogRun, and I sure hope you do, we've been doing it since 2007. My brother convinced me to start doing it back then, and we've got Twitter, we have Instagram, and we have Facebook. So please like us on all three. And if you love us, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Poor Mike Deering has produced and managed almost 369 videos in 2020. And since 2010, we've had 2,500 audios and videos. There's surely something for everybody. And if you can't find something you like, just send me a note and, put a microphone in front of me and I'll talk for 5 minutes. So then we'll have something for you. But enjoy track and field, stay safe. Please get vaccinated, if not even for yourself, for those around you. I want to see you guys at track meets. Okay? And come up and you'll see me in a RunBlogRun shirt or something like that, or with the widest beard out there. Anyway, have a great day. Stay safe. Thanks again.